I don't really have the right words to describe this because I honestly did not know who was going to be taking that. I realistically thought, like, at the start of it, I was gonna say, like, yeah, Triple C, they're starting strong, they've got good rotations, they're getting some early game picks, but then in the mid game we started to have Wrong Arc start to bolster their momentum. They evened up the structure race. They almost took the first keep of the game, and then I was like, okay, well, Wrong Arc, they're looking good. They're going to be taking this, and then all of a sudden Triple C gets a huge push, and they take bottom keep, and I'm like, yes, all right, well, they're going to be going. Like, I'm just this back and forth, and then all of a sudden you just have this weird boss play, and unfortunately, yeah, they're going to be losing out to the members of Wrong Arc here, and Wrong Arc going to be picking up that win. And I do got to say, they did some damage. Talking Trees sitting at 85,000. Let's round up here. 86,000 hero damage. Mm-hmm. The closest on the enemy team was the Leoric with 49,000 here. So it's just absolutely ridiculous, the damage that was coming out from Talking Trees. I would not be too surprised to see some sort of ban or removal of that hero. I don't think they're going to want to deal with that again.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see a first ban Chromie come out. But let's talk a little bit about the talent choices and the quest progression on the side of Triple C. Maiev, I don't think ever finished Bonds of Justice on level 1.
I don't know if she ever got a stack, to be honest.
I don't remember seeing a stack coming in from that. So clearly there's a misplay on that talent choice, in my opinion, because that, again, we talked about burden of execution. You pick that talent, you have to make sure you get that stacked up, because there's no point picking a quest if you're not going to complete it. But Seth on the Gul'dan as well struggled to get the stacks of the corruption for Echoed Corruption on level 1. It wasn't until really close to the end that he was actually able to get that there. And by that point, there really wasn't enough room for him to execute and be that damage dealer, because he was getting bombed by trees on that Chromie.
The numbers that I'm looking at are just so ridiculous. At the same time, like, I do want to, Gul'dan struggled to get the damage and the stacks necessary, but on the same hand, looking at the numbers, 242,000 siege damage on the Gul'dan. The closest was the Blaze with 183,000. That's ridiculous to me. Like, that's some insane play. But you said it exactly. They struggled with getting the hero damage. They struggled to get their stacks, and at this point, it's just so hard. All you can do is turtle into your own base, and with the kind of sieging potential and the ability to just keep kind of poking into the backline and really disrupting them and pushing them around with that Chromie, it just slowly picked them apart. And some of those last calls were maybe tilted plays, or just unsure, or maybe they thought they could fight harder than was available. I don't know. The boss call is still I'm not sure to me.
I mean, the only thing I can think of was it was pure desperation. They were maybe hoping the boss would do enough damage that on respawn, March of the Black King would cause enough damage. You come with the Diablo Lightning Breath, get the miracle 2v5 team wipe, and steal the boss. But there's no way, because he was really obviously standing there. And if I'm on the side of Wrong Orc, I'm just gonna stand around him with every cooldown ready to go and be like, respawn, I dare you.
And they did that. That's the thing, is they literally just spawned into the team, and I'm just like, but your Diablo is coming. You could have palled together. So I don't know. It was maybe maybe they had a different call in their head. They thought it was working out differently. Who knows? We may never find out. But we are currently getting updates. We are getting ourselves set up for the next game here. Just want to thank everyone who has come by and is enjoying the stream. Thank you so much to everybody. If you are wondering about the bracket or any of that information, go ahead and hit !bracket in the Twitch chat. It will definitely give you all the information you need for European and North America for the Open Division. Yeah, no, this is absolutely a blast, especially with this being the first the opening cup for phase 2 for the Open Division. This is the games that we're getting here. Just, if you haven't seen some of them, you need to go back and watch them, especially that Cho'Gall game. That was too good, and I can honestly only hope for another one.
Yeah, I don't know if that kind of loss is kind of sobering, though, if you're on the side of Triple C. It's the type of loss where you go, man, we really actually had a chance to win that, and it just kind of slipped away from us at some point. And that push where they knew they couldn't go in because 20 was happening on the side of Wrong Work. The disengage was perfect, but then somehow in the retreat they didn't quite see the flank, and they started to just eat damage on the way out. The decision was great, they just didn't execute it in time, and that's something I think they're going to be a little bit disappointed in looking back on, because they had the opportunity to get away from that and not give up the deaths that they did there. And with the amount of push that they got in, they had a chance. If they took another 5v5 fight at 20, they probably had the opportunity to, if not get the team wipe, but win the team fight and then get control of the map back.
So just to update everyone here at this point, sorry, first pick went over to Triple C. So that means that map pick goes over to Wrong Orc, and they're going to be taking us to a classic map. We're going to be going to Curse Hollow, and it's probably, I think Warhead Junction is bigger, but it's one of the biggest maps that we see the most often. And this is a map where we could see Double Global, we could see Lost Vikings, we could see God, there's so much. I mean, we could see a high priority onto mobility heroes like Genji to get some of those picks like we saw in the last game. We could see a high priority into the Hanzo for Vision as well as Boss, because it's a double Boss map. Getting the, the simple geometry with the sharpened arrows, and you get the cooldown reduction, which I cannot remember off the top of my head, at 7. You can just burn bosses before the enemy team can even rotate to you. So it's definitely a map where we see a bit of a different meta from what we've been seeing throughout this night. We've been casting we've casted a lot of Tomb of the Spider Queen. I will say that. This is the most Tomb of the Spider Queen I think I've casted in one night. Still doesn't beat my
favorite. It's my favorite map, so I'm actually okay with that. I love Tomb of the Spider Queen.
That is perfect. There you go. I mean, the one I think my record currently is Battlefield of Eternity, and I think it was like 5 games in a row, because it was like HeroesHype Amateur Series, so those were all single, best of 1 games. So, and a lot of people, it's a great place to if you're really, really strong on that map, you can take your team there and really start to burn down the enemy team quickly, and then just get a lot of pressure early and just almost win with one of the first, maybe even second Immortals, or Punish. No, Immortals.
Immortals.
I flipped it in my own head, but we currently are getting chats in the lobby. Chat is just being spammed. I don't even know what is going on. Looks like we're going to be going into this game number 2 here in just a second. I can't wait. I'm ready for this. I want to see what these teams are going to be pulling out on Curse Hollow. This is a huge map, and we're going to be getting some interesting drafts, I think, from these two teams.
I think we're going to see probably still very close to meta from Wrong Orc. We saw pretty meta drafting from them in game 1. Really meta drafting from Triple C on the other side as well, with Seth on the gold end. The burden of execution kind of failing them there. They didn't really get the late game execution on their comp that I think they would have liked to, especially from their DPS.
Yeah, that's true.
With Watcher and Seth on the Maiev and Gul'dan respectively, they just didn't quite have that same ferocity that Trees did on the Chromie.
It's the kill potential and the threat. It was the last, for example, like the last time I looked at Chromie stacks, and that was before they did the Webweaver boss push at the end. It was like somewhere around like 72 stacks, and I think that was actually when they ended up getting the big wipe in bottom lane too. So, and it only went up from there. It's terrifying, and I'm not gonna lie, this is another map where I definitely think we could see Chromie. The delay, the poke that can come out from her, it would be an absolute nightmare to deal with. Also, you can go into Time Walker's Pursuit at level 1, so you get the bonus damage, as well as you get the global kind of reveal at any point. So you can just check boss and be like, all right, well, we make a rotation, because if they don't have a Hanzo or anything to burn it down super quick, you can cross the map quick enough to invade and fight over a boss if you can make sure you do catch them as they're basically starting it. But we're going to be getting into our next map, and the big question of the night, Jay, is, do we go to a game 3? Does CCC take us to that game 3, or is Wrong Orc able to close this out, move on to the semifinals?
If game 1 is any indication, your guess is as good as mine. We might as well find a Magic 8-ball and consult it.
You know what? I really need to buy one for situations like this, where it's just like, ooh, do we get a game 3? And I just actually want to buy a Magic 8 Ball that says, yes, you'll always get a game 3, because I always want, like, those are always the best ones, because, you know, I wouldn't say it's not like tournament life or anything like that, but it's definitely, it's the difference of getting a lot of points and also moving into that bracket for actually, you know, earning money, winning this, you know, this cup here. So even winning just the lowest prize pool, it's still a lot of points. I think it's like 90 points and like $100, but that's still, you know, to play Heroes of the Storm for 3 matches and make $100 and also push your team that much higher up into the bracket. That's absolutely wonderful. As we do get an Abathur ban from Triple C and a Genji ban out from Wrong Orc.
I think the big question here is going to be A, whether or not Triple C expect Trees to go back into the Chromie, and B, whether or not they've got a strategy to counter it, because the composition for Wrong Orc was very well tailored to being a giant wall of defense in front of the dragon in gnome form. And Trees was literally raining sand. There's no other way to describe it. It was Dragon's Breath after Sandblast after Dragon's Breath after Sandblast, with the resets on the time traps and everything.
I expect it, honestly. Like I'm expecting there to be a Chromie pop out here, but at the same time we do get a Garrosh, and Garrosh has been banned out throughout the entire night, actually. Yeah, he's been banned out in every single game except for this one. We do get that Garrosh first pick over on the side of Triple C.
No, we saw him on the side of...
oh, you're right.
I can't remember who Triple C played in the 3rd round. I'm going to go look back in the bracket. But they drafted against the Cho'Gall composition. Because we did have that talk where the Garrosh throw out of the Jaina Blizzard at that one point, or the Cho'Gall shove. There was something. But
no, Garrosh was banned. Oh no, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong game in my notes. But yeah, no, you are right. It's there was a Garrosh. He was the second pick for the members of Team Maroon. But
yes,
let's get this, as we did kind of talk at the start of this, or you know, we mentioned the double global aspect, and that's exactly what we're going to be starting with on the side of Wrong Orc. They're going to be grabbing that Dahaka and Falstad. We'll see how the double global plays out and what they're going to be doing for a response on the side of Triple C here, because that's kind of a very like showing your cards at the start in a sense, because I wouldn't say there's like a counter to it, but you definitely know what you're dealing with right at the front of the game.
Here's the thing so far. We've seen Triple C ban Sky Temple every round up to this point. And that shows a pretty heavy aversion to the large macro play global map. True. They've preferred things like Tomb of the Spider Queen and Towers of Doom, Dragonshire kind of deal. They gave up map pick for this one. This is Wrong Orc's map pick. And they go immediately to a large map, to something that they might have recognized their opponents aren't comfortable with, and gone straight into the double global off the first rotation.
I like this, though. I like the ETC, because at 10, they get a global. But until 10, they do not have any sort of that rotation. So they're going to be purely gaining value off of their team fights that will be around the objectives up until 10, essentially. But that will be the Hanzo taken out. And that was one of the things that I mentioned. Boss burn up from the Hanzo, that's huge. And allowing the enemy team to have that is not something that I would want to look into. The other thing to consider, too, is that the members of Triple C, they have no boss control currently. They've got maybe the knockback from the ETC, but overall they've got nothing to maneuver people around off of that point. Whereas with, you know, the Falstad, they've got the Mighty Gust, you've got drag from the Dahaka. Now, granted, that's only in a singular person, but at the same time, that's still peel and pull. As this develops, if I'm sitting on the side of Triple C, like looking at the draft, I would try and maybe take out a main tank that would pair well into the Falstad Dahaka, or I guess with the ETC Garrosh, you can get rid of that. That makes sense to me. That makes a lot of sense to me, actually. I like that.
Yeah, take off the percentage damage. You've got that big beefy front line with the Tauren and the Orc. That's not a real surprise, actually, to be honest. You want to get that kind of painful disruption away from your front line. Let them be able to kind of work through the front line into the back line and work their magic. Especially with Garrosh, with, you know, Groundbreaker, with Wrecking Ball as well, being able to throw other heroes around.
That is a big one. Now they've got their Dahaka, so that's gonna be their solo lane. They've got Falstead, who will also solo lane in a sense. Now it's just building the core composition. Like, what do they want to like? I love the Joanna in the. Did they not play the Joanna? Yeah, they played Joanna last game. The Li Ming to go with it, so they've got resets. Now they're going to be looking for their main tank and healer, and it's just what they want to show first. I personally say take your tank and maybe flex on your healer, but they're going to grab the healer and do the opposite. Get the Malfurion, and I like this a lot. The roots are going to be huge, especially if you get the expanded area and you have Dahaka kind of setting up inside of that, tongue into a root, as well as Li Ming just dumping damage. This is a really, really strong draft coming out from Wrong Orc.
Yeah, I love this draft right now. You've got the Li Ming resets. I'd expect Shreves to be on the Li Ming as well. We saw him on the Chromie last game with the ranged assassin role, just dropping bombs from the backfield. Li Ming, very similar, just a different type of positioning required out of a Li Ming player because of the way the arcane orb works, hits the first target, blows up around them. So you really have to find angles to get your orb into the backline where the squishy targets live. Kind of like getting into a crab, you got to flip them over and dig into the soft underside rather than the hard shell of the top front line that looks like Garrosh and ETC. But last two picks for Triple C here, they need their support. I could see a Stukov here, but a Stukov I think would be a little bit difficult against the composition right now for Wrong Orc. Timer's gonna run down. Your guess is as good as mine. The Kane, but Sarah Kerrigan making an appearance here, and that I wasn't expecting.
I'm not sure about this. Kerrigan I feel is a very early game, win the game early, and that's about it. I don't think she really kind of gets too strong in the late. She gets stronger and she scales, yes, of course, all those things, but in the sense of like her talent tiers into the later half of her build, I don't think that they're as impactful as some of the stuff that you get early on, and I think their team might peter out a little bit. It's really just getting the setups that they're going to be looking for and trying to play off of that with the Phoenix, and I think that's a lot of execution coming down onto the Kerrigan player at this point. But this last pick on the side for the members of Wrong Orc, they're going to need a main tank. I personally say play the Joanna again. I think it worked out great for them. I think it's got another good setup with the Blessed Shield. And I think the blinds will be good into the Kerrigan, who will be diving onto them. They actually get the Arthas here. More wave clear, a little bit more setup. Yeah, I like it. It works. You do get the the Howling Blast. So you get that root that pairs well into the Malfurion. Yeah, I think this is a really, really good composition they put together on the side of Wrong Orc.
Well, and the slow aura as well. When you see a Kerrigan like that and you want that early game ability to kind of hold her in place so that your DPS can finish her off, Arthas is a great choice on that regard. I was just thinking to myself, the Triple C's composition and what they could be going for, and it just starts to get the sense that they're looking for that rotational pick composition. We talked about Kane in his rotational strength with his CC tools. Phoenix is a pretty mobile hero. Kerrigan is that kind of ganky burst hero coming out of the bushes with the easy WE combo that everybody knows is the only way that Kerrigan really plays. She's got one play style. It's land combo or don't, and results may vary.
Prepare yourself for battle.
Well, let's go ahead. Let's find out who will be winning this matchup as we get into game number 2. Will Wrong Orc be able to take this series and end it, or will Triple C take us to a game 3? We'll find out as Nesper will be on the Falstead, Talking Tree is going to be on the Li Ming, Nentori going to be on the Malfurion, Zainhide going to be on the Arthas, and Zergling going to be on the Dahaka.
And on the right, down a game of the series, looking to even things up here, it is Triple C in a surprise role swap. Dayun moving off the support will be playing Kerrigan. Watcher taking his place on the support as Deckard Kane, Seth Lordson on Phoenix, Yogurt on Garrosh, and Fomal Hot running up the front line with the Elite Torn Chieftain.
We get into this, and yeah, even like, wait, what? Like, what's this Kerrigan? Like, even production's just like, wait, the healer's on Kerrigan? What? Wait, how are we having these swaps? But this is all right. We'll get into this as we do have ETC going to be looking for that top lane. Dahaka already in the bottom at this point. Kerrigan going to be grabbing some vision. These teams are going to be splitting around the map as Nesper does some friendly spins just to say hi. Going to get locked in here. And the other thing I want to note really quickly is we actually have Nesper going in for the stacks at level 1, not going for the Seasoned Marksman. Going to be getting the Gathering Storm. Interesting to me to see those how that would be playing out into the later half of the game with this mage build Falstead.
I think that's a pretty smart play. You've got a pretty immobile front line in ATC and Garrosh, so there's a lot of easy targets for you to pick up those stacks on with the hammering going in and just getting that burst damage, which is something that you really want to add on to when you've got the Li Ming in the back line also dropping those bombs. You can kind of get these huge burst compositions when you get a target locked down with a drag, with a Howling Blast, with a Entangling Roots from Malfurion, that having all of your heroes on that burst, although Trees is getting a little bit out of position there. Seth and Fomalhot looking for the kill. They don't actually get it, and then Zanehyde coming around saying, hey, Phoenix, what's up, buddy? You might want to back up a little bit there.
And forcing them back, and they're doing a lot of good sieging here in this early game. Now, the one thing I do want to note is that we had, when I think the Yrel patch came through. No, actually, it was the week before Yrel. They had some changes that how experience went out. So these towers aren't worth as much, and you can already see that one tower was picked up by the members of Wrong Orc here, but the experience deficit between the two is not even noticeable in a sense. Like I think I can see it when I actually pull it up, and it's a literal difference of like 100 XP at this point. So some early game strategies are a little bit different, and I think that's going to be shaping out as these cups do progress. But 4 is going to be achieved a little bit quicker on the side of Wrong Orc. But overall, between these two, we're going to be just seeing a lot of setup as we get the first objective in 40 seconds. The Toxin Tree is going to be stepping forward into the Kerrigan, and they don't have the blink. That is going to be the first kill of the game, going over to the members of Wrong Orc as they pick up a second one.
And they get the camp steal. They managed to sniff out the rotation that was coming in for Triple C. It's 3 kills on the camp as ETC gets taken out on the way through. This is not the start that Triple C wanted. They lose the camp, they lose 3 members, and they'll give up the first tribute for absolutely free to the members of Wrong Orc.
I talked about the aggression that came out from the members of Triple C last game on Tomb of the Spider Queen, but it is all there from Wrong Orc as they are taking down gates, taking kills, taking camps. I mean, just get away from them. They're taking everything, as it looks like Nintori will be channeling that first one, trying to get the poke with Decker King, but it wasn't there in time.
Hide your globes and hide your well, because they've taken everything out here.
Thank you so much. I could not think of anything quick enough. That was the best. We do currently have, though, this 1v1 in bottom lane between the Falstead and the Garrosh. Meanwhile, the lanes have been split off. Members are splitting off into these lanes. It looks like they want to fight in this mid. Zanehyde going to get caught out a little bit. Kerrigan diving in. They have some roots coming out just to help. There is the combo that goes out. It does not connect onto Zanehyde, and just kind of walks out of the lane, taking a little bit of damage. Might have to tap well, but that will be another tribute popping up here in the next 15 seconds.
And it's really good timing for the members of Wrong Orc right now. They should be able to clear this camp with enough time to fight this. They might even just actually give up this first tribute to the side of Triple C. They don't really need to contest this, but it looks like they'll actually get to the Bruiser camp and roll right in there. Watcher, though, is going to complete the channel in the backside. A little bit late on the rotation right now for the members of Wrong Orc. They don't care, though. They'll take Kerrigan out as a little bit of a consolation prize.
That is going to be a pick here, and they're going to go ahead and grab the Phoenix as well. Ooh, they actually have the flight in from Nesper here onto Watcher, and the old man, I think, is going to be able to... Ooh, the old man getting some B-steps out is going to be able to back out of here. But they do get that pick onto the Phoenix very, very quickly, and Zergling looking a little worrisome as Yogurt getting some nice body blocks, but should be able to get out just fine.
And this early game right now has been going one way, as it's a level lead for Wrong Orc, and it seems like everything that Triple C has been trying to do so far in this early game has been either figured out and countered, or just plain not worked. They're going to lose their middle fort here, and that's a really bad time to lose it, because they... I mean, I don't even have words to describe what has been happening here. It seems like every time they get into a fight, even 4v5, somehow the members of Wrong Orc have found a way to burst down a critical member of the comp on Triple C. Right again here, Dayoon getting completely wrecked by that Falstad auto attack. It's going to be a throw on a Nesper, but Yogurt going down on the Garrosh. It'll be at least 1, maybe 2 there, as Dayoon's still low, trying to find a way out, and Fomalhot actually on the ETC just able to get away. Nesper's actually going to go in. He's looking for the kill.
No, what? Oh,
maybe
the barrel roll. Gets the dismount. ETC
Couldn't
should
get
be
the
looking
lightning
out
rod.
fine. Oh, that would have been too good. Just the juke at the last second. We have the ETC getting out just fine. But at this point, that will be another tribute picked up in favor for the members of Wrong Orc, putting it 2-1. They'll go ahead and grab some camps here. 10's, though, on the cusp for Wrong Orc. I don't know if they're going to be able to contest the next objective, as it will be spawning here in like it'll be spawning like right around like the 8-minute mark in the game.
And here's the boss call. It's the offensive side boss call too for the members of Wrong Orc. They've got 10s. They've got their boss control, which is what they need. That the mighty Gust able to blow any attempt at this one away from the members of CCC. And this map has been talked about for a long time about being very, very snowbally. And it hasn't really changed much over the months and years of Heroes of the Storm being out to see any difference in that. You see the heroics here. Nesper is actually just sitting there on the boss. The mighty Gust to disengage. Dayun really low there as the Twilight Dream landing. Kane down, Kerrigan down. Full retreat for CCC. The boss taken and the tribute spawning.
Tribute is spawning. They've got Siege Giants and Boss in top lane. They'll be able to get this in the next 3 seconds. The Boss will actually stay alive because there won't be any shots coming out from the fort. It's 11-9 at this point. Not even like it's 8 and a sliver. As Yogurt was actually trying to get the deny there. We'll try and poke out a little bit here and there, but that will give some more stacks over the Falstead. While all this is happening, I can just run through some of these talents really quick because I think Twitch chat might want to know. We do have Arthas sitting on 7 of his Frost Presence stacks, 110 of the Frozen Waste. We have Falstead sitting on 18 of the Gathering Storm stacks. Tissue Regeneration is finished by the Dahaka. 2 stacks of Vengeful Roots. We have the 10 on the Warbreaker and 7 on the Prog Rock, as we have Deckard Cain getting bodied right at the start of this, and we actually have a toss going out onto Zainhide, really far away from the friendly team, but here's the thing, there's no shots to be taken, so they go ahead and they get a root onto a couple more, stacking up a little bit more for themselves here, and Jay, they're looking for double keep.
Double keep is a foregone conclusion at this point. It's a boss with a curse, with a 4-man or 5-man push in mid. Top keep goes down, middle keep goes down. They might even try to end this sub 10 minutes here. Phoenix is gone as Seth Lordson gets completely deleted from this one. The boss is healthy here. It's a 4-level lead. ETC down. There's no. It's gonna end here as Wrong Orc goes right through in what can only be described as an absolute masterclass on Cursed Hollow. 8 minutes and 27 seconds to see them through on a 2-0.
I'm at a loss for words. That was a sub 9-minute game. All right, so we actually saw, so let's back up a little bit here. We saw OSD actually run a double global on Dragonshire, and they basically tried to do this exact same thing into the members of CCC, and we saw it get shut down so hard. And this was the exact opposite. This was as you said it, this was a tutorial of how to basically play Cursed Hollow, and especially with a double the double global aspect where they were laning with 3 members and just pushing, and they just had Dahaka just soaking what came to the gate. The Falstead soaking what came to the gate, and they were aggressive with their 3 members. I gotta say, this was a great game from Wrong Orc, and I cannot wait to see more games from them. I still gotta applaud CCC coming out and playing a phenomenal game, but just the Kerrigan, I don't feel too strong about it. I will be honest on that.
I think that was a Hail Mary call to try and change something up, and it just did not work in the slightest. And the fact that CCC got absolutely blanked on kills should tell you everything you need to know about the Dayun on Kerrigan experiment in this second game of this series. Teams didn't even have a chance to get to 20k hero damage, Bahamut.
It's
Phoenix on 19k on the losing team was the highest.
19.4, yeah, it was just like ridiculous. And I'm also like peeking over at Twitch chat, and I'm just seeing like people like 15 minutes at best, and then it's just like 15 to 20, okay, maybe 10. Like it's just like like even Twitch chat was, I think, surprised, like stay a while, and oh my god, please stop. Thank you for that hostile. But that was an amazing game. These series have been just awesome, and I think at this point that is going to be wrapping it up on our end for the stream. I think, let me just take a peek at the bracket, and we can kind of at least take a look at that and see how things have shaped out on the other side as well. But man, Jay, these games have been awesome.
Yeah, that was really fun to cast. Game 1 had me really, really hoping for a closer game 2, but unfortunately, wrong orc putting the brakes to that one real quick. Quick update through the rest of the round of 8. Freebird's up a game on Trademark Gaming right now. Firm Handshake and Team Numerics currently tied at 0-0. Wrong Orc, who you just saw, through 2-0 on Triple C. And Reborn versus those guys at the bottom of the bracket. They are yet to post a game result yet, still at 0-0. It's been fun, Bahamut. It's been a really good night of games here in the Nexus on the Heroes Hype channel. I've been really happy to be here. And it's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm looking forward to what we see tomorrow with the top 4 playing off.
And so at that, yeah, that is going to be starting to wrap up our stream here. Just a quick couple things I wanted to note. If you are enjoying these, if you're enjoying these games and you enjoy watching them, please go ahead and hit that follow button. Support the channel a little bit. If you do want to go ahead and press that sub, if you have a free Prime and you want to pass it over to us, that would be we would love you for it. The other factor too is all that money, it goes right back into supporting the community. We put every dime back into BlizzCon events. We put it into stream team events that are going together. So everything goes back into the community. We want to, definitely support you guys by, at the same time, if you support us. So it's, it's a nice little trade. If you do want to actually compete in these games and you don't want to just watch them, you should head over to HeroesHype.com. There is signups for the North American and EU, for Europe. And so you can sign up, register, and all the cups are, I think, available and everything. You can register for, I think, all of them already. So definitely go check those out if you want to play it. But before we leave, Jay, where can people find you? What are you up to? Give yourself a little self-plug.
I am actually a Rocket League esports caster, moonlighting as a Heroes of the Storm caster. It's been a really cool ability. For Heroes Hype to let me on here and stretch my legs, so to speak. But you can find me on Twitter at InanimateJ and around the internet as well in most of those ways. But it's been a blast, and I love coming out and being here on the Heroes Hype channel. It's a really cool group of people to work with. Big shout outs to our production team, Vivans and Kiri on Observer, doing a great job keeping us with all the action. And I didn't slip off camera once. I was actually really happy about that today. I managed to follow everything.
Well, perfect. And you can find me at Bahamut Gaming on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. I am streaming Heroes. I am casting Heroes. It's pretty much all I do. A little bit of other games here and there, but nothing too big. Besides that, yeah, absolutely. Big shout out to production. They did an awesome job where we literally just get to sit here and we just talk, and they just send us messages, and they also try and make us giggle with some really good just kind of notes about Cho'Gall compositions. But that is going to be wrapping it up for us tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night with more games. I do believe it is at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to double check on that one.
Technically daylight time, because we're
daylight time. You are right. I said standard, and I was like, somebody's gonna get me on it. Somebody will get me on it, but I'm glad it was my co-host.
You know what the get out of jail free card is? Just say Pacific time, and then it doesn't matter if it's daylight savings or standard. That
is true. I couldn't just get away with saying that. See, even production is getting angry at me. It slipped. I'm trying to make a better job of doing it, but that is going to be wrapping it up for us. We'll be back tomorrow night with more games. Follow us on this channel to make sure you know when we go live. This has been an absolute blast. Thank you so much. That is the first night of Cup 1 for the Open Division here on the Heroes Hype channel. We'll be back tomorrow night with the semifinals and third, fourth place games. Have a great night, and we'll see you then.